Okay, guys, so some of you are finally getting to the more challenging assignments I gave you. Now, what's cool about geometric series, guys, is you learned a little bit about it in IM1, okay, but probably not too much, as well as arithmetic sequences as well, okay, but you didn't really learn much. That's what I'm trying to get at. And IM2, really, you're not really taught any of this at all. And in IM3, if anything, it's barely touched. But this is so important, guys, for those of you, again, think of next year, going on to college, going on to trig pre-calc. You got to know how to work with these geometric kind of series. Anyways, let's get started. So, I recommend you watch these videos here. Okay? They're good videos. Especially the second one, but go ahead and watch the first one as well. But what I'm doing is practice geometric series formula. Okay? Sorry, getting hiccups there, so excuse me. So 4 questions. Let's go. Here's the first one. Now, before we get started, guys, if you watch the videos I recommend, by the way, that Mr. Khan did, I think the second one especially is really cool because he shows you where the formula comes from. Now, let's be honest, most of you don't give a crap where the formula comes from. Here's the formula. I know that if I take the sum, that's what big S stands for, of n amount of sequence of numbers, right? That sum is simply going to be whatever the first number was. I'm going to call it A. And you're going to times that by 1 minus the ratio between those numbers to the n power divided by 1 minus the ratio. Now, it looks scary, but once you practice with it, guys, with me, it'll start becoming easier and easier. Okay? Some of you never even seen this before. So you have to realize that you have to be patient with yourself. Okay? Have to be patient. Anyways, let's get to the work. They told me the common ratio is 0.5. They told me the first term is 256. Okay? So, they want to know the sum of the first 6 terms. So what they want is what we call S sub 6. The sum of the first 6 terms. Now what that's going to be is our first number, which they told us is 256. All right? And we're going to times that by 1 minus the ratio, 0.5 to the 6th power, because we want the first 6 numbers, divided by 1 minus 0.5. Now, the one thing I noticed at Khan Academy, I think he made a mistake on, is some of these, he gives you the calculator. Some of the harder ones, he doesn't give you a calculator. So, if you have to, guys, use a calculator. What I did actually was I just Googled it on my computer on a separate tab, and I bounced back and forth with the calculators one tab and these problems on Khan Academy as another tab. Okay? Anyways, to complete this, I did use a calculator. I did 256. That's our first number now. Times, now guys, remember to use those parentheses, because I'm going to times it by, as you can see, 1 minus 0.5 to the 6. That's what that is right there. And because I want to keep this together as well, I put it in parentheses, and it's dividing this, right? So all I did was divide, parentheses, 1 minus the ratio 0.5, close parentheses. And if you use your parentheses correctly like I did, guys, there's your answer. The answer was 504. So we would put in 504 there. Now, let's delve into this a little bit more. What we just accomplished with this, guys, we were told the first number was 256. The next number was half as big. That's what the ratio meant. So the second number was 128. The third number is going to be half of the second number, 64. Each time we're going to do a half, you see? And in 64, when I take half, is 32. And 32, when I take half, is 16. Again, I'm doing half because that's what 0.5 is. And finally, I do 8. Here is my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth number in the sequence. And if I add these together, guys, you know what I get? I get 504. So as you can see, this formula is a shortcut. Just know how to use the formula really well, guys, and you're going to get a lot of these problems right. All right, let's do one more before we cut this video here. And I'm going to do another 2 on a separate video, part 2. Anyways, this time they gave us what I just talked about. The first number is 7. Okay? Notice to go to 21, I had to times by 3. To go to 63, I had to times by 3. This number I'm timesing by is our R, our ratio, our common ratio. So if we go to the formula, they want the first 9 terms, S sub n, or S sub 9 in this case. They want the first 9 terms. It's simply going to be the first number, 7, times 1 minus, the ratio was 3 to the 9, divided by 1 minus, the ratio is 3. Again, all I did, guys, was this formula right here. Okay, that's all I did. R was 3, A was 7. We're almost done, guys, because we're going to go to our calculator. I did 7 times, parentheses, use those parentheses, 1 minus 3 to the 9, close parentheses. Again, I just did that times that with parentheses. Now I'm going to divide by that in parentheses, keep that together. So divided by parentheses, 1 minus 3, close parentheses. Let me clean that up so you can see my actual work there again. And here's our answer, guys. 68,887. So that means, oops, went too far. That means in this box right here, you'd put in 68,887, right? Yep. And so let me just remind you guys, why you're doing this is you're actually learning something new, something totally different, but you're also practicing things like using a calculator on a computer, typing in answers correctly on your calculator on a computer, typing answers correctly on the screen, okay? And that all requires good practice, which hopefully you're doing with me right now. So that concludes part 1 of Geometric Series Formula. See you around, guys.